Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and this is part 2 of my collab with Simlicy. And if you haven't seen the first part, you definitely should. I'll provide a link to that down below, as well as in the top right corner. And I'll also link her channel, because you should definitely check her out. She's an amazing builder and person, and you'll just love her. I know you will. But yeah, so we decided to do a collab. It's kind of like a 50-50 build where I did all the exteriors and the landscaping, and she did all the interiors and all the little extra doodads that you'll see outside and inside. But yeah, so we decided to put the resort in Oasis Springs because it's pretty much the only thing that makes sense as far as it being kind of tropical looking. At least there's palm trees, right? But this lot is where the land grabs usually live, and I think it's one of the bigger lots in Oasis Springs. But yeah, so we were like, oh, why don't we do a Caribbean inspired build? And then I suggested that we also do the lot that's right across the street from it, so it's kind of like the whole area in that part of the map is just this resort, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so the one across the street is like Honeymoon Villas, where you would go for your honeymoon or on vacation if you have a little extra money to spend. So that one is a little more expensive than if you were to stay at this main resort, at least in my head. So yeah, I actually built this like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times before I was pretty happy with it. So this is the 3rd attempt at the resort because I wanted to make sure everything kind of fit in there. I wanted a restaurant, a spa, and rooms upstairs, and a place for the host stations for people to, you know, check in. Back here is the patio area. I thought it'd be really cool to have like an infinity pool. So the pool actually goes all the way to the edge, and I have another pool which is behind there, which is supposed to be like a faux beach kinda. So you'll have a beautiful view out into the beach down on the first floor. So I've been to not a lot of resorts, but I've been to a lot of hotels in my life because I used to be a dancer, actually. So I would go out of state sometimes, or within the state, we would stay at hotels and for competitions. And so in almost every hotel or resort that I've ever stayed at, there's always been like a front area to the hotel or resort where cars would drive around and like through a overhang of some kind, in case it was raining or something, so people aren't trying to lug, you know, their luggage out of their cars in the rain. So it's kind of more a convenience thing, I think, that most resorts have. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just making the front entrance of the hotel, and I wanted it to kind of be rounded in a way. So I have this nice little rounded terrain paint going on, and I also wanted to have some greenery in the front as well. As you go towards the back, the green will turn into sand because it's supposed to be the beach, of course. So yeah, that's what I'm just doing right now. So for the side of the entrance, I thought it would be nice to have some planter boxes that were on either side of the stairs because I really wanted some greenery in here on the side, but I didn't really want it to be on the ground itself. I kind of wanted it to look like it was elevated. So that's what I did there. And here I'm just trying to figure out what windows I wanted to use, which took me a while. But I ended up going with the shuttered windows because I feel like that's very Caribbean, tropical-like. I think a lot of windows in the south and in the tropics have shutters on them, so I went with that. I kind of wanted the front to have a little bit of a dimension as well, so I just brought out some of the front of the resort, and that also gave a little bit of room, I think, in the suites on the inside. So I just kind of brought those out and put columns underneath, so I think that gave it a little bit of dimension that it needed. I thought about using stone fences for the front, but I felt like these fences that I used here were more appropriate for this type of build because, I don't know, they look more Caribbean and tropical to me, so I went with those, even though they're a little tall, I think, for where I placed them, but it works. I thought about making the resort two-toned, how I did with the villas on the lot across the street, but I ended up going with, I think, a more subtle color combination for the outside because it was just too much for this build, because the build is pretty big, so I didn't want to overwhelm anybody. So this area is where the bar is, or where I thought it would be the best place for it. So the bar is here, and then right behind it would be the kitchen and a dining area, which Simlicy furnished perfectly, might I add. So what I'm building now is the balconies that are going to be a part of the suites. So there's larger rooms on either side of the resort, and then in the center on the second floor are smaller rooms. And yeah, it's kind of neat though, because since this is technically a restaurant, she had placed tables on the balconies and in the rooms. So if you go through the rooms, sometimes you'll have people eating at those tables in the room, so it looks like they're actually, you know, renting the room. So that's kind of neat. So in order to do the balconies on the back here, I just made one big balcony, and then I separated them by rooms, I think. And I thought about using like a nice timber wood door for the spa area, but I didn't really think it matched what I used for the other parts of it, so I just used one of the normal windowed doors there. Of course, we have to have the stairs that lead to the beach. In a lot of beachy resorts that I've been to, there's always like a sectioned off area with stairs that lead to the beach, so had to have that in there, and also fenced in the patio area. And I think what I'm doing now is the spa area, which I ended up changing, I believe, because I wanted it to be open, like the massage tables. I did end up changing the roof tiles to be red because I feel that's more of a Caribbean style, having the red tiled roof. And also, I didn't really like how the top turret was looking with the blue, so just went with the red. It ended up working out really well though. I did place a few items in this lot because it is a restaurant, so in order to upload it to the gallery, I had to have certain things that were required, but of course Simlicy changed those to her liking. So if you do want to download this lot on the gallery, just keep that in mind, that mine will be unfurnished and hers will be completely furnished and done. I had a few things placed where I kind of thought things would go, just to give Simlicy a hint as to what I was thinking, because I didn't want to just give her like an empty thing and, you know, I'd be like, oh, what did she mean by this? So that's what I was trying to do for this lot, so just to make it a little easier on her. I really loved this blue color in contrast with the white and the red tile roof. I thought that was really nice, so I just went with half blue and half white, I believe, which I think worked out really well because it's still Caribbean, you know, but it's not completely in your face, which I could get away with the smaller villas because they're not so big. But yeah, I really liked how that turned out. So this area is the spa area. So these little rooms are private massage rooms. So I put in a few massage tables in here for her to know that's what they were for. And yeah, and I think I used different colored doors as well. I forget if she kept those in, but it doesn't matter. And then this is the kitchen area. So I just placed some kitchen items that were required for it to be a restaurant. And this part here, I really wanted this to work, but unfortunately it did not. I thought it would be really cool to have a like a check-in counter with the host stations inside of the counter, but I guess it didn't work out. Here I am just laying out the top floor where the suites and the rooms will be. I also wanted to have some public restrooms. I think I put those on the bottom floor, maybe on the top floor as well, but I understand why she changed some of these rooms because they were so tiny, and I didn't really know at the time how to make them bigger or more functional. So thank you, Simlicy, for fixing those. Here I'm just landscaping the front here. As you can see in the back, I added some plants to the planters alongside the stairs. And I'm just doing the entrance. And I figured that, you know, most fancier resorts would have something like this, where you have kind of like a grand entrance. When people start to drive towards the resort, they'll see this first, so it needs to be, you know, it needs to look pretty. So I like the idea of having these fish fountains inside here, because it's supposed to be Caribbean themed or ocean themed in a way. So yeah, so I just sized one up and I put a little one on top, and yeah, I really like how that came out. And I think I added some tiles later, maybe. I added some tiles inside the fountain there, so that's kind of a nice little thing. And then for the front here, I know that a lot of resorts have valet, so I thought it'd be kind of funny to have like a little valet station up here in the front where you would drop off your keys and the valet would take your car. So inside that chest there, I thought maybe they have like all the keys to the cars and or something like that. So just a little detail. It's not functional really, but I thought it was just kind of fun to have in the front here. I couldn't really resist furnishing just a little bit. So I hope that Simlicy doesn't mind that I did a little bit up here in the front. But yeah, I really, really love how this came out, and I'm so happy that I did this. I definitely want to do more tropical builds as summer rolls around, I think. And I love collabing with people. It's so great, really, because you get to meet new people in the community, and you get to know people in the community a little bit better, because you have to, you know, work together and make something together. It's really fun, and I love it. Here I am just putting some finishing touches on the landscaping, just adding some rocks and terrain paint. I think really add to a build. So I normally do that, and I don't know, it's just kind of like painting in real life. It's really relaxing, so I love doing it. And it just makes it more realistic, I think. Well guys, I'm just going to be putting the finishing touches on my part of the build, and I hope that you like it, and I hope that you also check out Simlicy's furnishing part of part 1 and part 2, which I'll link down below as well. And thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting me and my channel, and I really appreciate it, and I love you guys. and I will see you next time. Bye!